Hello and welcome to Point of View. The shockwave triggered by Russia's invasion of Ukraine has rippled through the space sector, where things have taken a geopolitical turn. The ongoing sanctions against Russia from Europe and retaliatory measures by Russia have broken down cooperation between ROSCOSMOS and its European partner. The chief of Russian space agency, Dmitry Rogozin, publicly announced on Twitter the decision to suspend cooperation with European partners in organizing space launches from French Guiana. The Russian space agency has also refused to launch the next batch of 36 internet satellites on March 5th for the European satellite internet provider OneWeb. The knock-on effect of this disruption means European companies and ESA will have to scramble to find alternative orbital rides elsewhere. And that's not going to be easy. The delayed development of Europe's homegrown Ariane 6 rocket is really hurting Europe. If the rocket were operational, it could easily accommodate the European missions on Soyuz rockets and become a OneWeb provider. Of the existing launch vehicles, there's zero spare European launch capacity for at least 2 years. If you look around the world, there's very little spare launch capacity anywhere. India has been hobbled by a very low launch cadence. Japan is struggling to complete the H3 rocket. The US rockets are all booked up far into the future, and SpaceX is in direct competition with OneWeb. Combine this with the fact that the fate of International Space Station is also uncertain. There are mounting fears that Russia's latest attack could throw the ISS cooperation into jeopardy. In fact, Russian space agency boss Dmitry Rogozin has issued blatant threat to stop essential maintenance that keeps the 500-ton space station in orbit if the US President Biden presses on with sanctions. So under the circumstances, the one option for Europe that may not be getting a lot of media play is China. As strange as it may sound, there's reason to believe the ongoing crisis may push Europe closer to China with regards to cooperation in space. When it comes to space exploration, Europe and China are no strangers to each other. Astronauts from Europe and China have carried out joint training exercises in the past, and unlike the US, Europe hasn't imposed a legal restriction on direct cooperation with China's space program. In August 2017, European Space Agency ESA astronauts trained with their Chinese counterparts in the first-of-its-kind joint space exercise. Its astronauts and the Chinese taikonauts participated in a 9-day sea survival training off China's coastal city of Yantai. ESA astronauts Samantha Cristoforetti and Matthias Maurer took part in exercise. German astronaut Matthias Maurer is currently on International Space Station as part of the Cosmic Kiss program. On the Chinese side were 16 Chinese taikonauts, including Wang Yaping and Yi Guangfu, who are currently on a 6-month mission on the Chinese space station, and Lu Boming and Ni Haisheng, who were part of the Shenzhou 12 crew that set up the new Chinese station as its first inhabitants. As part of the joint training exercise, the astronauts donned pressure suits and entered a mock Shenzhou capsule that was then released into the sea. The astronauts had to swap their flight suits for insulation and buoyancy suits before jumping into inflatable boats. They then practiced rescue procedures with both a ship and a helicopter. The exercise is seen by European astronauts as another milestone towards establishing good cooperation with China as a space partner. While this was the first time ESA astronauts trained in China, it is not their first collaboration. In 2016, Chinese astronaut Yi Guangfu joined ESA's caving course in the Italian island of Sardinia to experience an extreme environment as part of a multicultural crew. Both training activities were part of the 2015 agreement to boost collaboration between ESA and the China Manned Space Agency, with the goal of flying European astronauts on the Chinese space station from 2020. Although there are no firm crew assignments or schedule for when European astronauts might fly on a Chinese mission, but in a constantly changing global geopolitical landscape, nothing is off the table. When the Ukraine invasion dust settles, we may see some new alliances emerge based on priorities and individual aspirations of various countries and space agencies. We may need to look skywards to see some of these new partnerships of convenience. After all, space, like politics, can make strange bedfellows. That's a wrap. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.